Hey there, Jim and Cindy here from OUTAPocket. Today we're tackling a very important maintenance job on the Solis Pocket, an oil change.
And I've never actually changed the oil on any vehicle myself, so I thought it might be kind of fun this time to do it right alongside all of you. I'm going to learn how to change the oil on this van.
I've changed the oil on a number of different vehicles, but actually we've never done it on the Solis Pocket. Changing the oil on the Pocket is really just changing the oil on the Promaster van. What makes me really excited about doing this job today is Cindy volunteered to do all the dirty work. Unlike every other time I've changed the oil before.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. With this particular video, we're going to go over, obviously we're going to take you through changing the oil, all the different things you need to successfully change the oil, and we have a couple of surprises in store as well.
Hopefully a few little upgrades we can do in the process of changing the oil to make this process much easier next time we tackle it.
And cleaner?
And cleaner.
All right.
Cleaner. Hey, should be a pretty quick job. Let's get it done.
All right.
With the oil change today, we'll be changing the oil and the filter. So two things you need: 6 quarts of 0W20 synthetic oil. You'll need a new oil filter. They look like this on this vehicle. You'll need a 13mm wrench socket to get the oil drain plug off. And you need a 24mm wrench or a 15/16 SAE size to get the oil filter cap off. Now they often, I've heard people say you should use a stubby wrench. I actually was able to get this, looks like it's going to be able to get in there and get that off, but a stubby 24mm or 15/16 is also useful for this. To orient you around the engine compartment, the area that we'll be interested in is right over here. This is the dipstick to check the level of the engine oil. This is where the new engine oil will go in. And then back behind there, it's a little hard to see, there's a black plastic kind of dome-like thing with this hex on top. That is the oil filter cap. So once we drain the oil, we'll be taking that off. But we do need to drain the oil first. So I'm going to run the van for a couple minutes, warm up the oil so it'll completely drain out from the bottom. If your hood isn't open yet, you have to open the driver's door and hit that to free the lock. Once your hood latch is freed, just to the left of the Winnegabo, there's like a little lever you push. Hood will open, and you hold it with this. Cindy, I pulled together some additional things that we'll need for the job today. An oil drain pan to catch the oil. Hopefully this will hold 6 quarts. I don't know if I've ever put that much in it before. A rag to wipe things off or pick up a little bit of oil. A towel or some type of mat to pick up little oil drips. Some latex gloves for you to wear when you take the bolt out of the bottom of the engine and the oil starts pouring out all over your hand. A couple containers to collect the used motor oil so we can dispose of it properly. A work light so we can see what we're doing under the hood. And a collection of funnels. I don't know what shape we'll need to put in the new oil. But we'll need some sort of funnel, it looks like, because it's up under the hood. So these should be the supplies. Are you ready to drain the oil?
That's what's next.
That's what's next.
Hand over the
crawl
gloves.
under the van. Here you go.
Thank you.
Apparently I have the 13mm.
That's it. You
All right.
see the drain
And this is
plug
the drain
right there.
right here?
Right there, yeah.
Okay. Wow, I have to get way less under here than I thought I had to. All right, so,
And make sure it's on there really good. You don't want it to strip off.
okay, it's on.
Okay, and now you get it. Sometimes they can be a little tight.
Look at that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I am gonna
Once
make
it
a little-
starts, you're going to want to take the wrench off.
Oh, okay.
And then put that capture bin right under it. Yeah, it could come shooting out toward me,
good
so
God.
even move it. There you go.
All
Okay.
right.
Now just loosen it with your
Is
hand.
this in a good place?
Yeah, looks good.
All right. So this is the icky part, right?
Yep. And it's going to have oil coming out, so get your little red rag ready.
Disgusting. Hang on.
And be careful not to drop that thing into the oil, which is always
red
a
rag.
risk.
Here we go. Red rag is ready.
Okay.
I mean, it is loose. Ooh,
Should
it's starting
start
to wobble.
dripping.
Yeah.
Okay, there it goes.
Ugh.
Oil's pouring out. Looking good. Looking good. So there's the oil filter cap, Cindy. I got the light in there.
Okay.
So see if you can get that.
The red rag in.
Yeah, maybe down to the left just to catch any little bit of oil that might leak out. So you're going to take that cap off with the wrench and lift it and the filter all the way out where your hand is. Shouldn't be too tight. These things don't have to be on very tight.
So I'm using the
That is a 15/16.
16/16.
24 millimeter also works. Got it? Moving?
Yeah.
that's
The
good.
whole thing's moving. Is that all right?
Yeah, the whole cap should move. The
Okay,
whole back
great.
cap.
Because that's what it's doing.
And you should be able to get it to a point where you could do it by hand.
Now it must be.
Okay. Feels pretty loose.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay. Now it's going to lift out and it's going to have a long oil filter sticking out of the bottom of it.
Okay, here it comes.
Yep, use that orange cloth in case it's a little drippy.
Managing the oil is the hardest part, isn't it? All right, out he comes.
Great.
There
look at
we
that.
are.
All right, nice job. One of the upgrades ahead of mine, Cindy, you're holding, which is a metal oil filter cap instead of the plastic one. Because in my experience, plastic, it just doesn't last the test of time.
Makes sense.
You know, it gets fragile or it breaks. Now this doesn't come under too much pressure. You don't have to tighten it that hard, but I thought a nice metal one would look nicer and be more reliable if we're going to be doing oil changes ourselves.
I like it.
So the oil filter itself just pops in and out of the top of that cap. There's the new one. So pop it right back in there. Now what we do is you need to put a little bead of oil with your finger around that rubber gasket. And just coat a little bit of oil around the gasket, then you're going to put that in and start screwing the new one back in.
Is this the rubber gasket?
Nope, down on the metal.
Oh, down here.
Yep, just want to coat that with a little
coat
bead of oil.
Right there. All right.
And then you'll go in and you can hand tighten the new oil filter
Alright.
cap.
I can do that.
Okay, go ahead.
It's oily.
Well, yeah, it's oil.
Gross. All right, and then I'm going to put it around the gasket.
Yep.
So now I put this in?
Yep, put the new filter
I
back
put
in.
this right back in.
Yep, and just try to be careful not to like get it into any dirt or anything. You want to just shoot it right back into the hole as best you can. And then just start finger tightening it.
Okay, it's back in the hole.
Is it tightening right up?
Yeah, look at that.
Doesn't metal just feel better?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Is it hand tight?
Hand tight.
Okay.
So now do I need that
You need that wrench.
wrench?
Switch it to tightening mode. And
Okay.
it doesn't have to be very tight. Just snug, a little more than hand tight.
Okay.
You don't want to crank it down. It's not necessary. Good. Feel snug?
It does feel snug.
Perfect.
All
You got
right.
it.
Great.
New oil filter and cap installed. Cindy, here's the upgrade I had in mind. You have the old drain plug. You can hold that up. That came out. You can see when you took that drain plug out, the oil just poured out all over your hand.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I found this new type of drain plug. You can read what it's called if you want.
Engine oil drain valve with lever clip.
Yep, and what model number is this one?
F106N.
This should be the one to fit our van.
Okay.
So go ahead and open that up. We're going to put this in instead of the original drain valve. And the nice thing about this new one, zoom in, is that it has a lever. So you just basically open the lever and the oil will come out and then you close the lever next time we change the oil.
I love that idea.
Yeah, so it should be a lot easier and cleaner. So when that's done dripping, we'll reinstall that drain plug instead of the original.
It's a great idea.
All right, putting in the new end. We have the clip already put in.
So it's like a clip to make sure it doesn't
black
open up
one.
by accident.
Yeah. And then we
That's
put
it.
it in.
And it says tighten it by hand and then use a crescent wrench. Once you get it hand tight, we'll pull the oil tray out. Then you'll have more room to work the wrench.
Okay.
It should stop dripping when it's hand tight.
It's also hand tight, so we're good. Look at that.
Great. So in the end, the 17mm crescent wrench was necessary to do the final tightening. Right there. There we go. Okay. So now, yeah, the lever will be right there. Oil will squirt out. Put the safety valve back on. That should be it.
No more getting oily fingers.
Hopefully not.
I
No.
like this.
They do say the one thing you never want to do is hit that with a rock, but it looks like we got other stuff that's going to hit first, so.
Looks like that container took all the oil, no problem.
Time to put the new oil in.
Let's first open this up.
Yeah, see which one will work. Good.
That's gonna work perfect. I'm just gonna pour it in.
Yeah, just
Go.
take it slow
Just go. Here we go.
so it doesn't overflow the funnel.
There.
Usually I let them sit upside down for a moment while I go fetch the next one.
All right.
If there's a way.
Ooh,
Good
I'll
enough.
go fetch. That was the 5th quart.
So what we want to do now, when that one's done, is we're going to check the dipstick. And we'll keep adding part of the 6th quart until the dipstick shows full.
Okay.
There's the dipstick. So what happens is when we put oil in, it puts it in the engine, but it doesn't get into the oil filter yet.
Gosh, this is long. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So we'll check that when it gets to the full line. Then we'll start the engine,
Okay.
and that will load it up back into the oil filter. Just run the engine briefly to get the oil to flow into the filter, then we'll stop and finish topping off the oil.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, do you see it?
I see oil.
There's usually like 2 lines.
There's 2 dots. They're not lines, there's dots.
Is it between them?
It's to the top one.
To the top line? Okay.
Yeah.
Then it could be time to start the engine and fill up the oil filter.
Sounds great.
So if I ran the engine long enough, it should have moved down to a lower.
It did.
Oh, good.
It's totally lower.
Okay, I don't know if I can see that.
Well, it kind
Down
of.
by the lower dot.
Yeah,
now.
let me
Usually the lower,
put it down.
in cars I've worked with, there's usually like 1 quart between the lower dot and the upper dot or line.
Okay.
So if it went down to the lower one, that'd be perfect,
We can put the
because it's
last
supposed to take 1 more quart.
quart. Yeah, look at that. All right, 1 more quart.
You got it.
So I should put in about 3/4.
I would. It says capacity 6 quarts.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure it'll end up taking it, but to be on the safe side, we don't want to overfill it. And this is the first time we've ever done this oil change on this vehicle, so,
So let's see what we got.
all right.
Yeah, it's coming up to the second. I mean, it's there.
It's at the 2nd line.
Yeah, but it probably could take that last little bit.
I can't quite see, so you'll have
Yeah.
to make the judgment.
Because of all my experience.
Uh-huh. If it's not quite to the dot, then you can add a little more. If it's right at the dot,
It's right at the dot. It's from my perspective, it's right at the dot.
okay,
So we'll leave it alone.
then we're done.
All right. In my professional oil changing experience. All right. Time to get it all put back together. There.
Excellent. There's one more thing we need to do
Yeah.
before we put away the old oil and stuff.
Okay.
You have to take a scan all around the oil filter cap and underneath and make sure there aren't any leaks.
It kind of threw me because our new filter cap is so shiny. But it's not leaking, it's just shiny.
Perfect, doesn't leak down the sides.
Nope, not that I can see.
Good.
Nothing's dripping here.
After it settled a bit, we went and tested the dipstick again, and it can handle this last little bit of oil. So we're finishing off the 1/6 quart of oil, which is about right.
The last step is to reset the oil change indicator. Now my indicator was not on, so I don't know if I'll be able to tell if this works or not, but you're supposed to hit the ignition, accelerator pedal, 1, 2, 3, button. I must say that vehicle was really a pretty easy oil change, easier than many cars I've done in the past.
It was fun. I had a good time.
My favorite part was I didn't have to do any of the dirty work.
Hey. Hey, but the new valve you put in there, that should make a lot of the dirty work not be so dirty in the future.
It should. I didn't like that plastic cap that was original. I like having a nice metal one. That way, when you get a wrench on there, you know you're not going to break it or
That
anything
makes
like
a lot
that.
of sense.
So we saved a bunch of money today.
Yeah.
And it was more convenient than dropping it off at the shop, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. It's done and ready for your next trip.
Hopefully you found this useful.
And if you did, please feel free to like and subscribe and drop us a note if you have any comments. We love to engage.
This is definitely one you can tackle yourself. Good luck.
Exactly.
Until then, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.